There's a certain kind of rich that doesn't need to announce itself. No flashy badge screaming from across the parking lot, no aggressive bodywork designed to turn heads at traffic lights, no gold trim, no chrome exhaust tips pointed at strangers. Just a quiet, almost unsettling confidence. The kind that comes from knowing exactly what you have and not needing a single other person to validate it. These are the cars for that kind of person. The ones that look almost ordinary until you get close enough to realize nothing about them is ordinary at all. This is the world of stealth wealth on wheels. And it operates by a completely different set of rules than the flashy end of the luxury market. Let's start with the most important rule. The people who notice these cars aren't supposed to be the general public. They're supposed to be other people who know. The guy in the Porsche Cayenne wants everyone to know he has a Porsche Cayenne. The person in a Volvo V90 with the right trim package, the right color, and the right interior, they're not talking to you. They're talking to the person at the valet stand who has seen enough cars to understand what they just received the keys to. That's the audience. That's the entire game. Take the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. On the surface, it looks like a sensible, grown-up car. Nothing about it screams. The lines are smooth and restrained. The proportions are almost understated for a brand that also produces some of the most ostentatious vehicles on the planet. But sit in said one and the story changes completely. The quality of every surface you touch, the weight of every control, the way the ambient lighting shifts across the cabin like a slow exhale. This is a car that spent its entire design language telling the outside world very little while delivering an interior experience that borders on the ridiculous. The people who drive E-Classes are often not the ones who wanted to be noticed. They're the ones who wanted to arrive somewhere and feel exactly the way the car makes them feel and have that be entirely private. Then there's the Lexus LS. This car is arguably the most underrated flex in the automotive world. It's the flagship sedan of a brand that many people still associate with reliability over prestige, which means it gets entirely overlooked by people who judge cars by badge hierarchy. And that is precisely the point. The LS is built with a level of craftsmanship, particularly in its higher trims with the Curico glass, hand-stitched Curico cut glass, the semi-aniline leather, the 23-speaker Mark Levinson audio system that puts it in genuine conversation with cars costing significantly more. It rides like the road made a personal apology before each mile. The people who know what a Lexus LS actually is will always do a second take. The people who don't will just see a large, quiet Japanese sedan. And that's fine too. Volvo keeps appearing in this conversation for good reason. Specifically the S90 and the V90 wagon. Something about Scandinavian design philosophy produces cars that are deeply, almost aggressively tasteful. There's no aggression in the styling, no visual noise, no attempt to impress you by being loud about itself. The V90 wagon in a dark gray or deep blue with the correct wheel package looks like it belongs parked outside a modernist house in the Swedish countryside, which is to say, it looks thoughtful, intentional, and quietly expensive in a way that most people walking past it won't immediately decode. Inside, the materials are honest. Clean wood, considered leather, a simplicity that isn't cheap minimalism, but the expensive kind, the kind that requires enormous restraint in the design process. The Porsche Panamera deserves a mention here because it occupies an interesting middle ground. The badge is known, but the car itself is long, low, and sedan-shaped in a way that confuses people who aren't car people. It doesn't look like a sports car. It doesn't look like an SUV. It doesn't announce itself with the same theatrical confidence as a 911. It just looks like an extremely serious, extremely well-proportioned car for someone who has moved past needing to explain themselves. The people who recognize a Panamera from behind in traffic, that specific roofline, those lights, know immediately what they're looking at. Everyone else sees a premium sedan. Both groups are correct. BMW 7 Series and the Alpina B7 operate in similar territory. The standard 7 Series is recognizable to anyone who pays attention to cars, but the Alpina version, which is essentially a hand-modified, deeply considered alternative to the M7 that never officially existed, is almost invisible to anyone outside a very specific circle. Alpina as a brand barely advertises. Their cars are built in small numbers, modified from production BMWs with new engines, new interiors, distinct badging that most people wouldn't recognize, and a level of ride quality that makes the already good BMW seem like it was just warming up. If you know what an Alpina badge means, you know. If you don't, you see a nice BMW. That asymmetry of knowledge is the whole thing. There's something in the color choice too that plays into all of this. The Stealth Wealth car almost never comes in yellow, orange, or any color that flags itself from a distance. It comes in colors that have names like Selenite Gray, Dolomite Silver, Midnight Blue, or just a very particular shade of green that doesn't look expensive until the light hits it at the right angle, and suddenly you understand you're looking at several $100s of paint per square foot. These colors are chosen specifically to reward attention rather than demand it. You have to come close. You have to look. And once you do, the car earns everything. The interior is always where these cars make their most honest confession. Because a car can hide its ambitions on the outside. A clean, unfussy exterior can read to the uninitiated as simply a nice car, a good car, a responsible choice. But the interior is private. The interior is for the driver and their passengers only, and in that enclosed space, there's no reason to hold anything back. So the heated armrests work. The sound system fills the cabin with something close to a concert hall experience. The seats move to accommodate exactly how you carry your body. The rear passengers in the flagship versions have leg rests, window shades, personal screens, refrigerated compartments. It's a hotel room on wheels, with the suspension tuned to make you forget the road exists. The message all these cars are sending is the same one, expressed in different languages and aesthetics. It says, I don't need your approval. I didn't buy this to impress you. I bought this because I know what it is, and what it is happens to be extraordinary, and that knowledge is enough for me. That's the real luxury. Not the leather or the technology or the silence at highway speeds, though all of that is very real and very good. The actual luxury is not needing to prove anything, just driving. Expressed in different languages and aesthetics. It says, I don't need your approval. I didn't buy this to impress you. I bought this because I know what it is, and what it is happens to be extraordinary, and that knowledge is enough for me. That's the real luxury. Not the leather or the technology or the silence at highway speeds, though all of that is very real and very good. The actual luxury is not needing to prove anything, just driving.